Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your master of your master of martial arts, and the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today, we are going to be talking about the first movie in a series of 8. Not very well. They're not really related, but they all have the Three Fantastic Supermen, plus a couple others here and there. But we are talking about what the heck? 1967, Three Fantastic Supermen. But before we start talking about it, please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about these Superman movies. Let me know what you think about the movie itself. Have you seen more than one? I've seen like 3 or 4, maybe. I know I've seen 3 for sure, but this first one's the best. And if you could just watch a little longer, really help the algorithm. Try not to make it a half an hour episode like yesterday. All right, are you ready? Up, and away! We begin with an obligatory bunch of newspapers talking about 2 thieves disguised as Supermen, though not really because they're not super outfits, as we'll see. Operating in the USA too, also as well, and then you see a bunch more in different languages. So we've got some people waiting for them to show up. There is our hero Brad Harris as Brad McCallum, and he was also in a couple of peplums, 2 or 3 peplums, I want to say. Goliath against the Giants, Samson, The Fury of Hercules. And a bunch. He was in a lot of movies. Finally, ending up in Luigi Cozzi's Hercules, and I want to say the Seven Magnificent Gladiators. Oh no, that was by Bruno Mattei. But they used a bunch of Peplum's former Peplum stars. Anyway, you can tell he was a Peplumer. And I've got some subtitles on here at first, but as you can tell, every time the subtitles show up, the screen changes dimensions. So I turned them off eventually, but he meets the Superman. They have a little battle here. No guns for now, guys. And that is, so our first Superman is Luciano Stella as Tony, and the jumping jack there, the jumping bean as Brad calls him, is Aldo Conti as Nick. Aldo would be in a bunch of other things. He's a phenomenal acrobat. So he's probably doing most of his own stunts, which is pretty cool. But he's mute. So Brad's looking all serious. And I thought he did a really good job, Mr. Brad Harris, as Brad McCallum in this. This movie's a lot of fun. That's the main thing about it. I wish I'd seen it or even known about it. I don't think it was released until I want to say well after 1967 in the States, because it's called the Three Fantastic Supermen, and it's got a Superman style logo on it. It might have gotten a C and D from DC Comics, but like I said, it spawned 7 more semi sequels and a bunch of other non-related, even less non-related sequels, like Bruce Lee against Superman with the same costumes. But what are they going to do? Complain they're ripoffs? So the cast is great, really. I mean, they have a really good chemistry with each other. Brad shows his judo or karateka. Maybe it's a karate chop, but Austin Powers did judo chop. So the suits are bulletproof, so they don't have to worry about getting shot. The only thing that they aren't is fireproof. So he wants him to go steal. It's proposing, and Nick there does his backflip, and see, you can tell he was a bodybuilder. They're all good-looking guys there. So they're going to go steal banknotes from Simashir. That's the first part. So he throws the sphere. They have these 2. They throw spheres as their weapons to disarm people. They don't like killing. But other than that, an invincible trio, the Three Fantastic. Well, mistitle on the subtitle. So this was a fan redub of a German, I want to say a German disc, but I'm not 100% sure, marred with or paired up with the English um, English dub, and they did a really good job of it. So it's a very enjoyable movie. The three, see, they've got dollars because they're thieves, really. All right, so we get on there, and there it is, the Sumashir Embassy. More subtitles here. We're about done with that, and that's Frank Kramer, who was what is directed by, but it's Gio Franco Paroloni, who worked with Brad Harris quite a bit, and I believe both Luciano Stella and Aldo Conti. And here's our evil one of the evil women. And again, it's filmed in Italy and it's gorgeous. The scenery is gorgeous. The people are gorgeous. The actors. There's the jumping bean who is hiding in there. And look at all that money. Money, money, money. They have a supercar which can be piloted by automatically. Not even the well, I think the Batmobile can be, but I don't think the Sleeping Beauty, the Black Beauty, the Green Hornet's car, though I think it actually can be now that I ponder it. Not sure about the Mach 5 though. There's another villain there. I want to say that's I don't know Sabin Sir maybe. Unfortunately, the cast here, the credits on Wiki are not great. So they're waiting, jumps out, and they take off. They've stolen the money. They Then they get here to the embassy, and the FBI says, "Nope, let's go." So off they go. And here's a. I want to say this is the production or the athletic team of Italy, and there is well, it says Diana, but that's not the name she's got in the show in the movie, so I don't think that's Diana. But they're at the school here. They get new clothes, and then Brad shows up. He's like, "I tracked you," so because they just left him to steal the money. Got a little ahead of myself there. He kisses her. Brad kisses this one, who kisses him back. She's got a whip there to keep the girls in line, and off they go. We got to catch him. And there's the professor who invented the suits. They must pay him well, and he must. Obviously, they don't want to kill people. They're just robbing from the rich, essentially. So they're not truly bad people. That's the professor's niece, and she shows up in a hot rod, and she hauls off and belts Tony because he's a philanderer. But then he gives her this, and it's very important that he puts it on the right arm or the left arm, one of the two. It's very important. Keep that in mind. They're watching him. She's like, "There's the roadster. Let's go." They want to see the suits because the FBI is interested. Brad is an FBI agent, and they want to know about the fireproofness. And he says, "Oh, I was just working on that." Also very important for later. There's his machine, and the bad guys show up, and he drops There's the money. You can tell she's a villain. They drop the good guys down there just so they can escape. And that is once again Nick flying around, just kicking people. Now these must be part of his stunt team because they were very. He does not pull kicks straight out. You can always tell someone who's not comfortable and worried about hurting their stuntman because they're not truly trained in any martial arts. So I'm thinking there's karate, empty hand, and judo, but probably about that. I don't think there's any kung fu present here, but Nick bounces up, and I don't remember what happens there. Oh, they've blown the back of the car. Now that's also important to remember, as we'll find out. So they take her roadster because they've captured the niece. I think that's Diana is the niece. But off they go, and the countryside is gorgeous. So I've got some shots there. They try to fire on him, and more fighting. The fighting continues. Lots of great action scenes. Fisticuffs. I would assume that Brad Harris has some sort of training in martial arts because he knows the poses and he looks serious while doing it. So I'm glad. It's glad to see, but just great shots. And I like the fact that they wear their costumes a lot because As a kid, I wanted to see more, at least equal time for the costume superheroes as they were in their civilian identities. It was always cheaper, at least on US television. Say, I'm looking at you, Spider Man, and I'm looking at you, Incredible Hulk, to show them in their, non superheroic identities. But look, this guy's got weird eyes. He gets zapped, and they're startled to see what happens to him. But they've got the professor at his niece. They send him off. The dragster has a parachute to slow it down, just like the Batmobile does. They're shooting at it. Once again, gorgeous scenery here. And they're off. They walk into a bunch of kids. Oh, wait, don't we know her? The kids call him Superman. There's Nick doing some acrobatics. And these shots are great. But they're taking him to the basement. Unfortunately, these three dopey little children see it. And this one here wants to go back to his mom. Why they're all wearing the same clothes is weird because they're very pastel oriented. Helicopter. And there he is, our villain. He was Wilfred Gottlieb, a colleague of Professor Schwartz, and now he's known as Wilfred Golem. Golem, I mean, really. But there they are, and they're going to take over the world with gold, right? Fake gold, fake money. Look at all that, but it's all just fake. You are watching Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters on KXNO, part of the Zenorama Broadcasting Network. We now return you to our regularly scheduled program. Our heroes, who obviously like each other, despite the fact that they don't trust each other. Well, two of them trust each other, but they don't trust the FBI guy. But he likes them because they're all in it together now, and they've got to rescue the niece, get the money back, which is still fake. It's counterfeit because they know it's fake. Anyway, the car is mysteriously, they've had the back was blown out, but now it's fixed. But they're going to blow it up again because they put a bomb in it. See, they're all laughing. I think the cast had a really good time making this. It just comes across as fun. So they're zipping down there, and they outrace a train. Nick throws the bomb out, and the professor is screwing around with the duplicator. Because here the kids have been found out. They duplicate the little girl, but she's a mirror image. She's not the same. This one in the back lifts her right hand. The other one lifts her left hand. And they're going to duplicate all the kids. There's Golem and his secret. Well, he's a philanthropist he's like Lex Luthor, except not nearly as charismatic, especially when played by Clancy Brown. Lex Luthor, not Golem. There is Jimmy's mom, I don't know, Timmy and the Lords of the Underworld. There he is hiding. Tony rushes up to save him, climbing the wall because they've got suction cups on their boots, which adhere to everything. It's like, save my baby. Who will think of my baby? The evil one. But they capture everybody. And now they're going to clone all the kids. And they're going to kill the three Fantastic Supermen by drowning them. They've taken off their costumes. But unfortunately, they've left them with their capes. So there's some very funny moments in there. He does the cross because they're in Italy, and of course he's probably Catholic. But their capes blow up and bring them back to the surface. And they're all in their briefs. And both Aldo Conti and Brad Harris don't mind showing off almost all of them. You can nearly tell what religion they are. I did steal that from Robin Williams, the late, great Robin Williams. But Tony is a little more shy. So there's guns, and of course Brad has already shown his willingness to shoot people outright with his Luger, and they're all cheering him. He's threatening him. The car shows up because it's still on remote control. Now this is the premiere of Shimu, that country I mentioned earlier, and he says, "I can't have you harming these children." Bammo! He's gone, and I don't know which one it is. One of the the villain's henchlings throws Brad onto an electric plate just to stun him. Astrid, Contessa de Baudoux. I don't know. There she is, Astrid. Gets that, and he's like, I'm not dead. The generous corpse. Still in English. So they knew they were going to pitch this here in the States, although they might have shot it 3 or 4 times. Who knows these days? And he shows up. They do a mambo. The, she's there. The villains start looking for her. But Nick grabs it. Jimmy's mom has got it going on. Haba. She saves them. So after Tony was about to put a move on her, and she says, I'm Jimmy's mom. And he's like, ugh. So there's the villains. The car runs. They have the car run over them. Just kill them. Just run. So they're very casual about death here in Italy. The clones are made, the children, and they put them in the deep freeze, the real ones. And the little girl's going for it. The rest of them are, in the back. She tries to trick Tony, and they're going to clone Brad. And boy, do they clone Brad. But unfortunately, then that's when Golem figures out that it's a mirror image instead of a complete one. Mirror Diana tries to kill Tony, but he just pitches her right on there because the bracelet's on her right arm instead of her left, which is where he put it to begin with. So he knew, as you can see back. Let's scroll back here. Right there, it's on her right arm, and he's like, nope. So I like it when heroes are smart and not fall for stupid stuff. She turns into the carbon. The other one, he just throws her on there and kills her dead. And there we find out that Professor Schwartz has been messing with it. Golem shoots him. He shoots his henchling. He just shoots a lot of people. More acrobatics. Now we've got clones of Brad. Well, one clone of Brad. And he just starts beating him up. He doesn't say anything. But see, that's a karate pose if I've ever seen one. Not a very good one, but, if the size he was with the muscle build he was, I wasn't going to argue with him. Now there's 3. The kids and the girl are freezing. And Tony realizes how to kill her. He runs up the wall because Brad's shoes don't have suction cups. He took them off at the very beginning. Everything in the first act comes true in the third act. So, really nice shot. I don't know exactly how they did that, but it looks good. Brad gets free and is beating up the other 2. Plastic explosive. They drop the gold on the clones of Brad. Brad frees the girls and the children, and they attack him thinking he's still a clone until he calls him Jumping Bean, and he's like, oh, it's you. So everyone gets out. The kids are got snow in their hair and everything. The professor had been shot, remember, but he's also got a suit on underneath because he was trying out the fireproofness. Once again, first act, third act. The villains are actually clones of themselves, and they're like, well, we got to stop them. Superpower. They almost capture all the bad guys. Astrid's there to help him, but she ain't going with him. Golem kills her. So, but they still got Diana, and they've trapped Tony, and they've trapped Nick, who's being electrocuted. They're going to fire up Tony, but they get away. They free him, and the fight is on. The final battle. He gets throat punched, and he dies. And Golem is scared. They're like, all right. And he trips over Astrid's body and falls to his death right next to a child's toy, which was in the second act. Back at FBI headquarters, everything's settled down, right? They've got the stolen money. He's like, Brad's going to let his pals go because they're pals. And he's like, well, they got away. They steal the money from the mint. And he leaps from the top down. They get away. Brad's all upset. He tries a backflip and fails. And they find out the money's fake, so they throw it out, and all these idiots in the back are there. And the final card is Arrivederci until the next movie, which would not be for some. I got it up here. When was the next one? Oh, geez. Three Supermen in Tokyo. Oh, just the next year. Now, oftentimes they did change the actors here and there a lot. They didn't go to the jungle until 1970. So they went in a time machine in 1973, went to the Orient, teamed up with the Shaw brothers. So it lasted until 1987 was the last Three Supermen movie. I'm sure none of these guys are in it.
We'll be right back for another exciting adventure with Superman.
So that was the first three Fantastic Superman movies. Now, I'm going to try to review a couple more that I can find. I guarantee they'll be in order, but I'll try because they're a lot of fun. This is the best one. So, our next assignment tomorrow will be Captain Sinbad from 1963, which is very enjoyable. And that's about it. So, my fellow agents, until our next assignment tomorrow, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. And remember, the sun never sets on those who ride into it.
The sorcerer hurls a thunderbolt from the black magic of his bubbling cauldron. His evil genius holds you spellbound in the fantastic adventures of Captain Sinbad, a beautiful girl bewitched, legions of warriors transformed into giant birds attacking a ship at sea, and unafraid, Captain Sinbad defies the mysteries of the occult, fighting an unseen monster in the arena of terror. Guy Williams is Sinbad, challenging the mad dictator who holds the woman he loves in his fiendish power. Captain Sinbad, entertainment magic, thundering action, awesome spectacle. Captain Sinbad in wonderscope and dazzling color.